Really good Wednesday actually. All around, the BUCS 2 and 3 played each other in their league at Loughborough Town Rugby Club, which was brilliant actually, really intense. Good quality. It's good to see some of the BUCS 3's guys really step up to the plate. And, they gave them a fight for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, and eventually the BUCS 2's pulled away. But really good to see all the commitment on display. And then afterwards, the BUCS 1's played Northumbria, which was probably our best match of the season so far. We had a bit of a point to prove after being slightly embarrassed up at Northumbria earlier in the year, and the lads really responded well, came out and we put 50 points on a very good team, and also held them to nil. So very pleasing Wednesday all round, very enjoyable.
What would you put that result down to in the Northumbria game? Because obviously they were top of the league going into it, and we, as you say, absolutely beat them quite convincingly.
Yeah, just really great coaching, I think. I wish. No, and the guys responded really well. We dangled that in front of them a bit in the week about how we underperformed up there, and came a distant second in that game. And I mean, we've been improving week on week since then. So I think it's just a real reflection of the attitude and the approach of the players to working hard in training first and foremost, and then backing up a really good game against Leeds with another good game against Northumbria.
Obviously, you're going to be building on that fixture in this week's games. So who have you got coming up?
We've got Nottingham on Wednesday away, and again this is the third game in a 3-week spell that we looked at about a month ago. Starting with Leeds, who were top at the time, then Northumbria, who were top that week, and now Nottingham. Although they're not top, we struggled to beat them at our place early in the year, and we were down to 12 men at one point with a red card and a couple of yellows. Managed to pull our way out and won that game. But Nottingham gave us a real fight. They flew out the blocks on us and knocked us over in defence, and made it very tough for us. So at their place will be an equally tough game. And again, we've been drumming that into the guys. We can't get carried away with 2 very good victories in the last 2 weeks. We've got to finish it off with a third and 3.
I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls.
Your thoughts on the fixture against Esher on Saturday?
We knew we'd have to improve the performance. Really disappointed the week before against Macclesfield. Defensively and in attack, we needed to tighten up on a few things. So we asked the guys to think about the process rather than the outcome. We're fairly happy with the process and the way we went about our business. We were shy again by 2 points, which was just really disappointing. But as I say, we thought about the process and we've started to improve there. You look at the last 3 weeks, so Richmond getting beat by a couple of points, getting beat off Macclesfield. We were the second best team there, and we're the second best team again on Saturday. So, you know, the last 3 weekends, in all honesty, haven't been where we want them to be, but showing signs of where we can be. And that was a close to an 8-minute performance. And this weekend, really big game, and we're going to look to put that right.
Yeah, you got a massive fixture against Hartpury on Friday, and what improvements do we need to make?
I think I kind of touched on it there. 80 minutes. I think it's the same against Macclesfield, the same against Richmond. We showed glimpses of really dominating and putting our game on the opposition, and then we seem to soak it up for too long. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. There'll be no shortage of adrenaline, enthusiasm for this game. Friday night under the lights. Everybody's looking forward to it after the game on Saturday. We're still in the huddle on the pitch, and it was one of the first things mentioned, so here we go.
And we had quite a few BUCS successes last week. What did you make of that?
Yeah, really good week last week in terms of the BUCS. The 2s and 3s was a cracking game. Nice to see the 3s give them a good run for their money, and shows the strength and depth in this club. Competition for places is unbelievable. Speak about it with players on an individual basis weekly, and you just say, look, there's so many guys in one position that are of such a high standard, and it's fantastic for the club, but also for the individual. They're learning off each other. Competition can only make you better, and I think we've got the right group of guys here, and you know, they look about it in the right way. That they just see it as a good thing as well. They're not scared by it, and you know, everybody's just looking forward to the rest of the season because of it.
Running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side.
A chance to reflect on the game on Saturday. What are your thoughts on it?
As ever, gutted to lose. I think third week in a row now we've lost by 2 points, but just hugely encouraged by what the boys put out there. They put a bit of spirit back into the shirt. We're all hurting quite a lot after the Macclesfield performance and result, and really tried to break it down into basics again of our set piece being strong, our go forward, coupled that with some great attitude, and been very process driven. And yeah, it's I just more than anything just really gutted for the fellas that didn't produce the win. It's a huddle at the end, whereas you could just see how hard the lads had worked. It just would have been lovely to have got the win, but there we go. Take the positives out of it.
Yeah, what positives can you take out of the game?
Well, as I said, we're very process driven, so we're saying first of all you've got the game possession, and by that I mean you've got to have a stable set piece, so your scrum, line out, restarts, and all of those were much improved them against Macclesfield. We started to go forward a lot more and being a little bit more clinical and hungry in the contact, and then we made some very good decisions in and around our continuity as well, about when to carry hard, when to tip on, when to move the ball into space, etc. And then obviously we made a few changes from Macclesfield as well, and Will Edwards came in at 10, and it's huge credit to Will. He's an 18-year-old guy who's competing in National 1 against Esher, who are an extremely good side, and we look very comfortable there, so a lot of positives.
And what improvements do we need to make so that we can get across the line against Hartpury on Friday?
I think we've just got to keep looking at those basics, and then we just need to look at, there's just some isolated decisions made on the pitch on Saturday that if we'd made a slightly different decision, I think we would have been over the line. So it's there's lessons to be learned, and it's just reviewing those decisions, and hopefully that those decisions aren't sort of mistakes squared, but you know, next time we make some slightly more pragmatic decisions, I suppose would be the way of putting it.
And this Hartpury game's absolutely huge. Friday night lights against another education institution. What are your thoughts ahead of that game?
We're not really, approaching it different to any others. It's really nice to be playing on Friday night under the lights, and I was around, and Dave Bassett was around when we were sort of fundraising as a club to get those lights installed, for the purposes of nights like Friday coming up. And hopefully we'll have a great following from the students on campus and the local community and our supporters as ever. And it's our responsibility just to not get overawed by the occasion, but get inspired by the occasion, and again go and put pride into the shirt and show what we're all about.